Welcome everyone. Today we'll talk about unlock people potentiality. So basically we like to understand how we can make a complete team work to its optimum capacity in this particular presentation. So essentially how will you enable the whole team members to give their best? First and foremost thing is to imbibe that skills in yourself as a leader, wherein every one of your followers, every one of your team members is going to replicate you. So this is what we talk about, how to unlock people potentialities. Remember, people management is nothing but all about management of people, nothing else. It's how you manage people is most important. It is a subset of HRM which deals with strategic, financial, and policy issues as well as day-to-day people-related skills. And that is what we are talking about it. The people-related skill is of vital importance. Remember, people management is all what we are talking about is as a manager's roles in training, developing, and motivating employees to give in to their best. I have utilized the terms called optimum utilization of everybody's of when I say everybody, I also intend to say every resources, optimum utilization of resources in terms of your raw materials, resources in time in terms of your time. And when I said everybody is your people that we are looking into it, the role is very distinct, the role is very clear. We need to understand, be it in the technical know-how and be it in the administrative setup, it is what we indicate. Remember, about.com indicates that people management is almost very difficult thing, and probably it comprises 80% of the time for the role of a manager, or 80% of the time the manager is only there to manage people, build relationship, iron out issues between people around here. And when I say iron out issues, it might not be any issues related to his or her working around. It is their compatriot, their team members, and there might be issues around it that comes around here. So managing is all about people. Great managers build lasting relationship with the people that are based on trust, that are based on respect, and probably a transparent communication. Remember, we need to understand a employee is not an employee, a supervisor is not a supervisor, a manager is not a manager. And when I say about managers, supervisors, and employee, I am talking vertically. But can they be friends? And if they are friends, believe me or not, that means they have mutual respect for each other's, mutual trust for each other, and this friendly natures will enable the working of the organization in a much smoother fashion. And should it not be very wrong to say that people would be working in tandem, in cooperation, there will not be any toxicity in the environment, and managers would ensure that everybody is given the requisite expositions or exposure to become a very valuable employee for the organization. For this, the person might have to become a buddy, and there's nothing wrong in becoming a buddy. Remember, most of the time, what happens is everything said and done, managers will always put the blame if there's something goes wrong onto the employee. And on the contrary, they should be accountable for it, accountable for any wrongdoings. But what do we see in practical aspect? It is them blowing the blame or pushing the blame onto the employees. They're quickly deflecting the faults. And this happens, it happens from the higher echelons to the lower echelons in an organization. So when they fail to hold themselves accounting, they fail the people altogether. They lose their trust of the people, they lose their trust of the employees. Managers must realize that it is up to them, it is their fault if anything goes wrong in their department, anything goes wrong in their organization. They are the most senior person, they are the responsible gentlemen or ladies. They should be the one who should say the buck stops on their table, and no one else has to be blamed other than them. It is their responsibility. Once a manager owns up and tighten his belt, believe me or not, the employees will start respecting the managers overall. Not only start respecting respecting the managers, they will give their best so as to ensure that the managers is not being blamed altogether. So what the question is the manager willing to take a bullet for their employees? Mind you, it is a bullet for the employee, it is a pain in the wrong part of your body, but in the process the manager turns to gain respect, turns to gain trust. That is very effective in due course of time. This does not mean that you should let the employees get away with bad behaviors, bad performances. It means that you and you alone should be the one holding them accountable for their action, while you and you only can be accountable to the upper management, as the case might be. So basically, you're shielding shielding your employees, but at the same time, not establishing the fact that whose fault was it, and probably reprimanding them in private as to what is going wrong. So in the overall respect, you are basically not demeaning any of our employees in the process. But that is what we are looking into it. So how do we go across it? If you look at the pic that I have showed it to you out here, if you want to see it out, it is all about listening and believing or building a sense of camaraderie between your team member. Now, there might be certain issues that the employee must be nagging at you. They might be a legitimate concern, they might be wrong, but it is there's nothing wrong in hearing it out, is there? So you must be willing to act on those concerns. Ensure that you are actually listening and hearing them out. Probably, if you find merit, you will always actually try to set the wrongdoings absolutely apart and probably try to iron out the issue, try to investigate is whatever has been concerned, whatever the issues are, is it true, and if true, whose fault it is. So do not shake your head and tell them that you understand. Do something about it. And that is what we need to understand. In case there are no faults, try to make them understand who is putting having a wrong notions, clarify that doubts. Because what actually happens is once there is a clarity that has been established, people will become more comfortable in their shoes, and comfortability is most important, because until and unless people are comfortable, they will always cry, they will always talk, they will always create a toxic environment which is detrimental to the operation of the organization. So great managers never actually wait for employees to come to them. In fact, great managers are always great in listening. They go to them, they go to the water cooler chatterbox, they go to the cafeterias, they go to the break rooms, they proactively seek feedbacks, probably address issues before they even arises. If they find it out, if there are any issues that might be creeping around it, can you iron it out? Can you not give a reactive reactions rather than a uh, probably when you can give a proactive reaction? So great managers are people who actually listens, who understand, and who perceives things in futures and probably tries to iron out those issues immediately before they become catastrophic in natures altogether. So never hide. As a person, as a manager, never hide anything from your people. It is wrong, because this will eventually demean you. If you are hiding, people might have got different notion. For the time being, for a short term gain, you might have the respect, but once that respect is lost, no matter how long this time is all about it, it will never be regained. So what do I say? You should always be as transparent as possible. You should absolutely become dissect those information to the upper management, which should be deemed confidential. Remember, just keep them informed on what exactly is going into the company. You are letting everything known to the top management, but at the same time, you should not dissect those things within the department, within the organization. Let them know why certain decisions have been made. While employees are not probably not entitled to this information, but keeping in a loop is a part of building a team building activities, probably having a wonderful fruitful relationships that comes around it. So can you be transparent? You are not supposed to be a manager who is going to butter the upper management and probably dissect or probably take the fun out of the uh, of your employees. But if you can be the person who can be transparent as to why the particular action has been taken, probably sensitize them about all possible causes and effect. And this is a only way, and probably only way, to build a wonderful team. Let us understand why it is good. Why is it that good employees are very difficult to find? And probably once you have found them, it is very difficult, and should I say impossible to replace. So in an attempt to keep good employees, some managers avoid career development. Now, this is what we go around it. They do not help their people prepare for the future advancement. Why? Because if they get a future advancement, they might get a promotion within the company. Probably they are no longer a part of the team. In case they are not being promoted and they have got the requisite skill, they might leave your company altogether. In essence, again, they are not in a part of your team. So what does the manager say? The managers would always try to shield them and probably will not give them any promotions or any skills in the way to protect their only team that he or she might be building it. As a manager, your primary responsibility should be contrary. It should be the welfare of the employees. Remember, it is in their best interest that you should prepare them for the advancement within the company or for their career altogether. No matter what happens, believe me or not, no matter what happens, if your employees actually leave your team altogether, doesn't make sense. Your reputation will never be get marred altogether. Your reputation will only get enhanced because that employee, being a part of your team member, would always cherish the time that he or she has worked with you as a person, and probably will percolate the informations here and there. And that is only not only helping you building your reputation, it will also help attract a better talent probably in the next course of time. So yes, good employees are difficult to find, and some managers avoid giving or leaving them altogether, giving any advancement in their career in a way to protect them, their team. But that's not the right way to do around it. A great manager's responsibilities is always for the betterment of his employees or team members. Remember, the company's best interest is to identify good employees, make sure they are promoted for the position that they deserve, make sure that they can support the company in a much better fashion. Management is all about leadership. Their inseparable learning for your management skill will make you better. Absolutely wonderful leaders and a valuable asset for your company. So yes, we talk about it. If we look into the pick that I've given into in this particular slide, a person will need to improve and keep on improving. In the process of improvement, not only the company improves, but as a person, as a manager, your reputation gets enhanced a number of times. The role of managers may vary cross industries, but remember, anyone who is into people skills, who is responsible for managing a lot of team members, are should be able to go for planning and managing peoples altogether. They need to be understanding about their requirement, their talent, their resources, the goals. So poor management is of people can lead to a low productivity and morale. So outside the work environment, knowing how to manage people will help you in all your personal relationship. Improve people management by getting to know those who manage and how they work, leading by example and holding everyone, be it the case, holding everyone accountable for accomplishment as to what they say or what probably they're going to say. And if you can predict what they are going to say and what they're going to act around it, you can preempt any wrongdoings altogether. So knowing how people, what people are comprising of, thinking of, believing, behaving of, you are actually inundating yourself with a lot of possibilities. So when I say possibilities, it is flexibility that I wanted to emphasis upon it. Remember, flexible and being flexible, you should not be rigid in your approaches. Being flexible is actually improves people management. It is only the way to understand, the only way to manage a lot of people in your team. Now, when I say why a lot of people, because people are essentially unique beings. Every individual differs from the other person in one way or the other, and that is what exactly needs to be understood. So you have to manage a person as per their requirement. So schedule a time to talk to people, understand their problems, understand their challenges, understand their issues, understand what their life goals are all about it. So better manage their work contributions then and there. People management requires leadership. The best way to lead is by example. Remember, as a manager, as a leader, everybody is looking up to you. Whatever you are doing, they are watching you. It doesn't make sense that you are only instructing and issuing instructions or probably orders everywhere, here and there. It doesn't make sense if they do not see you working. You as a team leader has to work twice as hard as a manager, as twice as hard than an employee, only to gain their trust. If they see the managers working, if they see the leaders working, they will be ensured upon it. They will be confident about observing those imbibed quality. But on the contrary, if you are lethargic, if you are just issuing instruction and not performing any work, probably you are doing wonderful work as a manager, but actually are detrimental or demotivating the employees per se. So to earn respect, you have to respect yourself first and honor the words, dictates that you issue. If you work hard, your employees are going to work harder than you. That is what the case might be. So show people that you are trustworthy, show people that you are honest, understand the fact that transparency works. You need to understand, you need to walk the talk, as the case might be. If something is taking a lot of time for one of your employees, or anyone has a better idea how to get the result, be willing to listen to them, open to the ideas. You should let people work. Believe me or not, within a team, there are certain brains working beyond curriculum. Probably they might come up with certain out of box solutions. So there's nothing wrong in it. So ask for inputs as on when on basis. Be transparent, be systematic about any changes that have been incorporated. This will allow the people you manage to feel has been heard, even if the result is something that they are not happy about it. Once they are on board, once they feel, they understand that they have been treated not as an employee but as a integral part of a team, people will communicate. People will not only communicate, but they will also contribute. So everyone you manage should understand their roles, what they need to do, share performance standards, and let everyone know what exactly success look like. People must know what is expected of them before they can succeed. Communicating better is a great way to improve people management, and that is exactly that I am trying to tell it to you. People are often willing to work hard when they understand what they are doing is what has been asked to them. Be specific about your explanation. For example, instead of saying, I need the sales report by the end of the month, can you say, I need the sales report by the end of the month so I can forecast our sales growth for the next month? Now, what are you doing emphasizing around here? You are not issuing an instruction or order or a dictate. The first order says, I need the sales report by the end of the month. That's it. So you are seeing the objective very clear, very distant. There's nothing wrong in the statement, but probably people might take it in a different fashion. But once you say, I need the sales report by the end of the month, now comes so that I can forecast. So basically, it tells that if you finish your work, I will also be able to finish my work. So I'm depending upon you. Now, this is where the person becomes emphatic, emotionally attached, and probably they will rationalize why you are saying. Note what type of your behaviors bring the best performance result. Remember this statement, the way you conduct yourself, which brings the best, and accordingly, if you can polish it off, accordingly, if you can successively implement those results time and again. Some people prefer an authoritarian manager, while others work better with a manager who thinks himself as a part of a team. So depending on the team, you need to be authoritarian in nature, a team member in nature, or probably a friend or a buddy in times. So you need to understand what is that behavior that makes it click altogether. Your culture will inspire. It is the way you carry yourself will inspire and motivate others. Remember to celebrate victories, show your appreciation, and publicly reward the people who surpass expectation. This is the mantra which tells everything in jest. If you can reward people, both the extrinsic and the intrinsic reward, people will not only work for you, but they will happily have a congenial time within the organization. With these few words, I would love to wind up this particular presentation. I am sure everybody would have understood by now how to unlock people, personalities, or potentialities thereby altogether. Thank you very much for watching this video.